everyone, welcome back to the Catherine Crochets podcast. This is episode 36. My name is Catherine. I'm a crochet designer from South London, Surrey, that kind of area in the UK, and this is my podcast where I like to share all the recent crochet and knitting projects that I've been working on. It's mainly crochet because, like I said, I'm a crochet designer, but I do a little bit of knitting as well. And today it is mainly crochet. I've got quite a lot to show you today, and I've got it all gathered together here on the floor down here, but there is one knitting project in amongst the crochet. I hope you're all well. I hope you've had a good few weeks since the last episode, if you were here for that one. We've got the sun out today, which is really nice. It's been quite wet and grey recently, and I think we've all been feeling in need of a bit of sunshine, so hopefully this is the start of some sunnier weather and a bit of spring as well. It's Friday the 28th of February today, so tomorrow March begins, and it feels like once you can say it's March, it feels like you can expect there to be a bit more springiness in the air, don't you? So that should be good. So like I said, I've got quite a bit to share with you today. I've been working on quite a lot of different projects over the last few weeks. We had half term, which was a week off, which I don't know really whether that gave me more chance to crochet or not. I thought I'd get more done than I did. But anyway, I've still managed quite a few things. So I've got 2 finished objects. I've got a list just down here. 4 works in progress. Some yarn to show you that I've been trying out, and a special feature, which is an amigurumi item that was made by my daughter, who's recently learnt how to do amigurumi. Well, she could do a tiny bit of crochet before, not much, so this is her first proper crochet project. And then at the end I'm going to share with you 2 projects that I've got the yarn for, the patterns printed, they're all ready to go, and I'm going to be starting them probably today or tomorrow, so I'll show you those as well. So let's get started with the finished objects. The first one is, I talked to you about this I think a couple of episodes back. This is the Gingerbread Blanket, which is designed by Lindsay from Lottie and Albert, and it was a crochet along hosted by the yarn company Sharna in October and November last year. That was when they ran it, but obviously you can take, like I have done, much longer than that to finish it if you need to or want to. So I have finally finished it. I'm gonna hold it up and wave it about a little bit now, but obviously, as you can see, it is way too big to really get in the shot properly. So I've taken a little bit of video, and I'm sort of trying to sit over this side a little bit, and I'll pop it up here for you to see as well while I'm talking about it. But yeah, so it was a crochet along designed by Lindsay from Lottie and Albert. I'm just repeating myself now, aren't I? Hosted by Sharna. And when I spoke to you about it a couple of weeks ago, so I'd been merrily crocheting along and hadn't really sewn in any ends. So as you can probably tell from all the different colours that I used, there were a lot of ends to sew in. So I'd started and I was making quite good progress, and I think shortly after I filmed the last episode maybe, I just blitzed it and finished off all the ends, and then the only other bit I had to do was on this house in the middle. So I'd made the window and the door. I had to sew in their ends and attach them to the blanket. I haven't quite got the window perfectly. I don't know if you can see it. It's it's supposed to be round. It doesn't really matter, I suppose, but it's I've sort of sewn it on a little bit too narrowly across the middle there, so it's pinching out a little bit. And then I did these surface crochet pom-pommy bobble bits as well. So those are the finishing touches. I was debating, you're also supposed to do these same sorts of bubbles here, which are done with surface crochet. You're supposed to do those sort of alternating, I think, on either side of this white stripe on the gingerbread bits in different colours. but each bobble, because it's done with surface crochet, would have had 2 ends to sew in, and there's so much going on this blanket anyway. I just thought it really doesn't need it, and I just want this to be done now, and as it is, it's gorgeous and I love it, and we're going to really enjoy it next Christmas and getting it out. So I didn't want to add an extra task to the blanket and have it just hanging around for ages and ages. I just wanted it to be done, and I'm perfectly happy with it as it is, I think. Well, I know I am. Yeah, so that's my first finished object, yeah, it was really good fun. Really enjoyed making it. So many different techniques in it. So you start off with the house with this, oh, is it called block stitch? I don't know. It's not granny stitch, but it's the same sort of clusters of 3 trebles that you do into chain spaces. Surface crochet. This was intarsia with post stitches to make them stand out. You've got these, are they fan stitches or shell stitches, V stitches, tapestry crochet, stripes, tapestry crochet in the round on these squares. Yeah, bobbles here. What else have we got? Oh, and then this cool fringe on the edges. Oh yeah, more block stitch and ripples here. Or is it a ripple or a wave? I don't know. I think it's a ripple, isn't it? And then these cool tassels, which I don't know if Lindsay came up with this idea technique herself, but they're brilliant. You pull up a big loop. You crochet with the 2 yarns together, the red and the white. Well, it's red and white on 2 sides and green on the other. And you pull up a big loop with your hook sort of going through it, twist it round, I think it's about 10 times, I can't remember now, fold it back on itself, and then when you twist off it, then just naturally sort of coils up into these little twists, and then can carry on crocheting. They're a bit hard to show because they keep flipping over, but I think overall you can see they look really good, and it's a really fun way to trim the blanket. So yeah, really pleased with that and really happy to have it done and finished, and it's going to go away now until Christmas at the end of the year when I'll get it out again and be able to enjoy it. So yeah, that's my first finished object. Now my second finished object, I can show you the whole thing, no problem at all, because it is a hat. So it's much smaller, and I made the child size as well. And this is called the Sassy Scrappy Beanie, and it's a pattern designed by my friend Carmen from Off the Hook Creative, and it is available now. It's free, it's on Ravelry. I'll pop links below to all the patterns that I talk about in the podcast if you want to find any of them. But yeah, this was released this month, a week or so ago now, and it is just so much fun to make. So I tested a hat pattern for her, I think it was before Christmas, or maybe it wasn't, can't remember, but another one. And this is made in a different stitches, but in a similar way. So you make one big rectangle working back and forth, and you do the first bit of each row is the ribbing, and then the second bit is the main bit of the hat, and then there's a bit of decreasing around this end of the rectangle before you sew it all together and bring it in at the top at the end. But so this one, it's got nice wide ribbed brim, and then this bit is made with moss stitch or linen stitch. It's the same stitch, but people call it different things. And as I said, it's called, have I got this inside out now? Don't think it matters, does it? Just can't see where I said in the end. Anyway, it's called the Sassy Scrappy Beanie, and the idea is that you use less than 100 gram ball of acrylic yarn of your main colour, quite a bit less, I can't remember how much it was, so you don't need much of your main colour, and then you can choose as many as you want scraps of the other colours, and the idea is that you just pick them randomly for each stripe, So yeah, that's the right way around, I can see. Yeah. So as you can see, these are the colours I chose. I think I worked it out before I started, and I think on the child size, I think there's 26 coloured stripes, and I had, oh I know, I had 7 colours. So I used all of them apart from 2 4 times, and 2 of them I only used 3 times, but it was just random which ones came out each time. But having said it's random, what was really funny, or just pure chance, is these 2 colours, the purple and the green, every time they came together, there, 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 and there, every single time. I don't know what the chances are of that happening. Could work it out, but it can't be very high, can it? But I almost, the last time it happened, I almost wanted to put the second colour back and choose another one so I didn't have it repeating. But I decided I'd stick with what had come out of the bag because it was true. I'll turn up the brim again so you can see. I'm not going to put it on because, like I said, this is the child size. But I think the sort of random element of it, and you can choose like just mad colours, and then putting them all on the same colour background, it just shows them off really well and makes it look really good, I think. So, you know, even if you've got these like horrible scraps that you don't think you'd really use for anything in colours you don't like, just try making one of these beanies with them, and I think it will look great, really. Just, yeah, go for it. And the pattern's free, so you've got nothing to lose, really. And it works up really, really quickly, really easy to remember the pattern, and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, that's the Sassy Scrappy Beanie. So we'll move on to whips now, works in progress. I picked up the wrong bag for this one, hang on. And this one is partly finished because it's socks. So I have got one finished sock, which is a finished object, but obviously it's not a finished project because I need a second one. And I showed you this last time, and I think I'd done about that much, not very much at all. So yeah, I'm surprised actually, really, that I knitted this sock so quickly. I think what helped is I'm doing it as a sort of casual knit along with my friend Emma from MSC Makes, who's also making them, although as I explained last time, she's doing a different version, and you might have seen anyway if you follow her, because there's lots of variations of this pattern in the pattern. Can you say that? I haven't told you what it is, have I? It's the book Nook socks by This Handmade Life. I'll pop it on the screen. I'm pretty sure that's right, but if not, whatever I put on the screen will be right. And yeah, there's different versions of the ribbing, 4 different versions, like I explained last time. So I've gone for the version which has cabling in every other section of ribbing. Emma's just done this sort of ribbing all the way around, so there's no cabling, and then there's 2 other slightly narrower ribbings as well, I think. But yeah, I've just finished it this morning. So I was planning on doing this podcast. I said to my daughters when they left for school this morning, I'm going to film the podcast first thing. It is now 12:10. Partly I've been pushing about sorting out laundry and things, but also I thought, oh, I'll just finish off the toe. Last night I just got to the toe. I'd done the first few rounds of it, but I thought it won't take long, I'll just finish it off. But it did take, not ages, but longer than I thought. And then I had to remind myself how to do Kitchener stitch as well. Because once I finished the toe, I thought I might as well finish all it off properly, and then I can show it to you on a sock blocker and you can see it better. So yeah, I spoke about it quite a bit last time, but it's the book Nook socks. It's got this ribbing section like you can see. The sole is all in garter stitch, which it gives it quite a nice squishiness, I think. I haven't tried it on yet properly. I only tried it on to sort of work out when to start doing the toe. I haven't walked around in it, because I literally only just finished it before I started filming. But I think it's going to feel quite nice and sort of squishy. And then it had what was a new heel to me, which I had just learned from Emma, who learned from someone else apparently, that this type of heel, because it doesn't say so in the pattern, but apparently it's called a Flegel heel. And so this bit is all garter stitch like the sole. And yeah, it was quite good fun doing. The only heel I've ever done before on socks, I think I've made probably knitted about 5 pairs of socks now, 5 or 6. And they've all had the heel flap and gusset type of heel. So it was quite fun doing a different sort of heel. And I quite like this one, I think I preferred knitting it to the heel flap and gusset, but I'll have to try it on and see how it is. The yarn I was using was this. It's from Strictly Hand Dyed, multi-talented 4-ply, and it is called Experimentalis Blue. And it's just a sock yarn. It's a mix of superwash merino and nylon. And what I quite like about it, I think these socks, to see the ribbing, you need a relatively plain yarn, and I think this is just, it's looking less, in real life it looks plainer than it does on the camera, on the film, but I think, especially in real life, it is just plain enough, you know, it's not got too much variation in colour to still be able to appreciate, you know, the cabling and everything. And I really like I'll hold it really close now so you can see the sort of flecks of different colours in the yarns. It's all looking quite blue, but there are actually a few flecks of red or yellow or like a jade green in there, which I really like. So yeah, really happy with that, and looking forward to having a pair, although I might wait a little while. I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to cast on the second sock straight away or return to another knitting project that I started and then put on pause while I was doing this sock. I might switch back for a little while to the other project before doing the second sock. I don't know, I'll think about it. So the next project I have to show you is another blanket crochet along. I'm sort of all about crochet alongs at the moment because there's another one I've got to show you as well in a minute, which reminds me, actually I did a blog post a few weeks ago with, if you're interested in doing a crochet along as well, a blanket crochet along. It's got a roundup of 8 different blanket crochet alongs that are going on at the moment, which you can join. So if you're interested in joining one, which I'd really recommend joining a crochet along, I sort of explain it all, I think, in the blog post, I think. Then yeah, go and have a look, because there's 8 lovely ideas. Since I wrote that blog post, I've actually heard of at least 2 other blanket crochet alongs that are starting soon, which look beautiful as well. So there's really a lot out there to choose from. But anyway, this is, I showed you it last time, this is the Canal boat crochet blanket, Canal boat blanket crochet along, which is a design by Lucy at Attic 24, and I'm doing mine, it's a stash busting one, so these aren't her colours, these are mine. And as you can see, it's grown quite a bit since I last showed it to you. I think last time I'd used all my colours once and a bit, hadn't I? Because I remember showing you that I think that I'd marked it off with a safety pin where the end of the colours were. I think I'd got a little bit further. So I think it's probably about at least twice as big as it was before. And I've now just, yeah, this last row here, I've gone through all of the colours 3 times now. And like I explained last time, I'm doing it in a totally, I don't know why I keep waving it around like this, doing it in a totally random way. I'll just do this so you can have a good look, and then I'll put it down so I can talk to you properly. Yeah, so I'm picking the colours in a totally random way, putting all the balls in a bag, closing my eyes, picking a ball, and the only exception to that is that 2 of the colours I've got in there twice. So this white and the kind of light pale misty grey I've got in there twice, because I just thought it would balance it out a bit, not have it too dark. So if I haven't, but if I did ever pick those colours twice in a row, one after the other, well, not the grey and the white, but if I pick white and then white again, or grey and grey again, then I would put that back and pick a different colour. But that hasn't actually ever happened. And some of the other colours are quite similar, like you can see this bit here, but even when they're really similar, there was another bit where they were looking quite similar as well. Yeah, so here there's trying to show it to you while I'm holding a cup of tea, it's not working, is it? There's a similar bit there anyway. Even if they come out and they're not really very contrasting at all, I'm just tough, we're going with it anyway. So yeah, really enjoying this. Pattern is completely memorised now. It's really easy to remember. I think I've probably made about half of the blanket. I've gone through the colours, like I said, 3 times. I haven't measured it or anything, but I think, here I am waving it out again, I think it's probably about halfway. I'll see. I'll do the same amount again and see what the shape looks like, and whether I do any more. But this is, it's so addictive and enjoyable to work on, and really nice in the evenings if I'm feeling a bit tired. But I've got a couple of other projects that have got, this hasn't got any deadline at all. I've got 2 other projects which have got deadlines, which I haven't started yet. I'm going to talk to you about those right at the end, which I'm going to prioritise those until they're done. For now, their deadlines aren't really soon, but I just want to make sure that I get them done in time. So yeah, so that's my progress on the Canal blanket, which I'm really enjoying. This is the bag of yarn. I got this bag several years ago now when I did the Spicier Life crochet along, and I ordered the yarn for it from Black Sheep Wools, and it all came in this lovely bag. And now it's got another crochet along in it, so that's quite good. So I have a break from talking about crochet alongs for a moment and show you another whip which has resurfaced this week. I was working on it last year. I think I might have started it last summer actually, and then it went away for a while, and this week it's come back out again, and I've shared it on the podcast before, but not for a while, and it is this wrap. So it's still not full side, I don't know, it might be about halfway, I think. Yeah, I think it's about halfway or just over. And I asked my my email list subscribers a while ago if anyone had a suggestion for a name, and I can't remember their name now, but I've got their email saved because they came back with the suggestion of the Starstruck wrap, which I really liked. So this is going to be, I should say I'm designing this, this is my own design. This is going to be the Starstruck wrap when it's finished. Thanks to my subscribers' name suggestion. And I'm making it, so I started making it with, and I still am, with Friends cotton linen yarn from Hobby, and it's this colour is, I don't think it says on the ball band the name. I think it's called something like cherry tomato or something, because it's I don't know if you can see. Oh yeah, it's just getting it. It's sort of two-tone magenta and red, which from a distance it all just looks red, doesn't it? But that just ever so subtle variation is really nice. You do catch it a bit more in real life, I think. And it's called cotton linen, so as you'd expect, it's a mixture of cotton and linen and also viscose. And it's super fine. The recommended hook size is 3 to 3.5 millimeters, but for this project I'm actually gone up to a 4 because I wanted it nice and loose and drapey. And it's quite simple really. Each of the stars, it's just 4 rounds, and then I'm joining when I do the final round, I join the points on to the adjacent star as I go. Join as you go. So yeah, hoping to spend a bit more time working on this and getting it finished off, and then I'm not going to set a date because I'm not really sure with all the other things I'm working on how long it's going to take, but this is one of my priorities, to get this design finished and written up and out there as well. So if you want to make 1, 2, you can. So yeah, that's I've got one more whip to show you now. That's my 3rd whip, I think, wasn't it? So the last project that I've been working on is, like I said earlier, it's another crochet along, and it's for the blanket. It's called the Hearts and Flowers Blanket. It's designed by Sweet Sharna, and like the Gingerbread Blanket, it is a crochet along with Serdar Yarn Company. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, at the end of the last video, I showed you me unboxing the yarn, because it arrived while I was filming my last podcast episode. So if you missed that, you can go back and see me opening a box of yarn if you'd like to. I haven't got very far with it. I've been sort of dipping into it because with everything else going on, I'm just sort of no pressure, just doing a little bit when I want to. Yeah, so I've just been doing bits of it, and I'll pop up a picture so you can see the final design. I'm not entirely sure if I'm actually going to make the whole blanket because it's quite big, but I do love so many of the elements of it, all of it really. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is each week I'm kind of dipping in and trying out different bits of the pattern without making the whole lot. So some weeks it's like make, I don't know, is it 8 or 16 of this type of square or so on. I'm probably not going to make the full number, but I'm going to make all the different elements and then work out my own way of joining it all together at the end. And I'm using the Serdar yarns, although I haven't used all the colours yet, and I'm not sure whether I will. I might just stick with the sort of slightly narrower range of colours that I've used so far and stick with that. We'll see, I might change my mind. So from week 1 I've made these lovely heart granny squares. I've seen this sort of thing before but never made them, and they're so cute, aren't they? So I just made them in the 4 shades of pink in the blanket. Well, actually I think this one's called Mauve Marl. I can't remember all the colour names now. I think it's, oh, I don't know, but this one, I think that one's got a rose in its name. This one is called Rustic Pink, and in some lights it looks brown, but it's more of a sort of pinky brown, maroony brown. And when I saw the ball just by itself, I wasn't sure about the colour, but as soon as I crocheted it up into a heart square, this colour is really growing on me, and I really like the sort of warmth, and I think its name helps as well. Rustic kind of deepness of it. So yeah, really like making those squares from week 1. I might make some more, like I say, I'm going to make bits of it and then kind of come up with a plan to join it all. So I might end up having to go back and make more of different things. Then I haven't done anything from week 2 yet, which was partly because week 2 was, so you joined your heart granny squares together in a row, and then you worked waves or ripples. I think you call them waves. I always get the 2 muddled up, sort of along the edge of them, because I don't know exactly what the arrangement's going to be yet, or what size I'm going to, how many squares. I haven't done that bit yet. So then moving on to week 3, I've only made 1 square so far, but there were 2 different designs of flower granny squares. And because I loved working with this dark yarn so much, I changed the colour. So I think this square wasn't supposed to be this for this, they were 2 different colours from the kit. I think one might have been yellow or orange, which were very bright and sunny, but I wanted to use this dark colour, so I put the dark colour in there. Then after I'd done this mauve round, then I was trying to decide which colour to use for the final round, and so I sort of placed the square on top of several of the balls of yarn to see, gave quite a good idea really of what would be a good colour to edge it with. I've seen other people do that before, but never tried it. And yeah, decided to do the final round in this rustic pink dark colour as well. So yeah, it's a really nice 3D square with the petals popping out. Yeah, so really enjoying working on this, and like I say, just dipping into it and seeing. I think I'm going to quite enjoy making the different components and then deciding how to play around and join them together myself. So yeah, I take my time on it, and this week the pattern came out. I think it comes out on a Wednesday, or it might be a Thursday. It's Friday today. Anyway, this week's pattern is rose with this really cute little heart stitch made in rose, which I definitely want to make that. But I think I might have to, I could just do a panel of it, couldn't I? But then it'd be annoying if it was just a few stitches too short or something. So I think I might have to have a pause now and think about sketch just a final layout of how many squares and whatnot I want of each type, and then I can add on the sections of the bits that are made in rose. There's also some granny stripe bits that I haven't done yet as well, so I'll definitely, I think, add in all the different components, but just in a slightly more condensed and smaller version than the crochet along. So that's my last whip. Now I've got one more thing to show you that I've made, but it's not really a whip or a finished object, and I'll explain why in a moment. I think I'm just going to frog it all, but so I was contacted by We Crochet a few weeks ago, and they asked if I'd like to try some of their yarn, and I said yes please, that sounds very nice. So they asked what sort of colours I liked, what sort of yarn thickness, and they sent me 4 balls of yarn to try. So 2 of them I haven't used yet, I'll just hold them up. This is Swish. They're all the 4 balls of DK yarn. This one is 100% fine superwash merino wool. It's really soft and smooth. This one, I've got some fluff on it from something else. This one is Copped Lin, which is 70% Tangui, is that how you say it? Tangui cotton, and 30% linen yarn, which I haven't used those 2 yet. And then they sent me 2 other balls, which I have tried. So this one is Andean Treasure, which is 100% baby alpaca, and it just feels, it's like cotton wool almost. It's really soft and smooth, but it also just feels really light and airy as well. And it's in this nice natural colour. And the other one that I've been trying out is this one, which is a tweedy yarn, and it is called City Tweed, and it is 55% merino wool, 25% superfine alpaca, and 20% Donegal tweed. And I don't think I've ever used a tweedy yarn, but I've always really liked the look of them and the idea of them, and wanted to, but I've just never really got round to it. So I was really pleased when that one arrived. So I decided to try out these 2 because as you might know, a lot of the projects that I like to make and design are tapestry crochet. So I thought I'd try them out with one of my designs, and they both, although they're all 4 yarns are different fibre content, these 2 seemed pretty compatible. So I decided to make one of the squares from my Midnight Diamond blanket with the 2 of them, because I have long thought as well that tweed is a really good option for a lot of tapestry crochet work, because you've got that sort of fleck in it. especially if that fleck, so as you can see it's mainly a sort of off-white fleck, it matches the colour of the second yarn, so it sort of helps to disguise any sort of, you know, the jaggediness at the edges of the stitches, there isn't really any yarn peeping through, but some people, you know, some occasionally there can be, and it gives it a really nice rustic look and kind of works really well with the whole concept, I think, of tapestry crochet. So yeah, so I've made a midnight diamond square with it. I was really happy how that worked out, but it's sort of this yarn, I mean, it's especially the tweed yarn's lovely, and this baby alpaca yarn, I mean, it's so soft. It would be amazing to make a whole blanket with it, but it almost feels, well, it would be super luxurious, wouldn't it? I haven't looked, they sent me these yarns for free to try, but I imagine, you know, buying enough yarn of this yarn to make a whole blanket, it would be a really special project, wouldn't it? It would cost a fair bit. It would feel lovely. It is so soft. It would work really, really well, I'm sure. But it's not something that's on my list to do at the moment. So that's the reason why this isn't a finished object or a work in progress, because I've left it like this, but I haven't cut, it's still attached to the balls. I haven't cut the ends, because I think what I'm going to do, now I've tried it out, is actually frog this square, so that I've got a whole ball of each of these. And my question to you is, given 4 separate balls, I think they're each 50 grams, 50, they're all about the same size, 50 grams, yeah. So with 4 times one 50-gram ball of yarn, these two could possibly go together, or that's the cotton, the merino. I think because they're all sort of wool, the cotton I think would have to be standalone, but these are different wools, although I don't think I want to use all 3 together, to be honest. I think those 2 I could possibly use together. But yeah, that one and that one I'd use by themselves. But have you got any ideas of any projects I could make with 50 grams, or if I use these 2 together, 100 grams of DK yarn, either animal fibres or cotton? Yeah, let me know, because I'd love to try them, especially like these 2. I'd like, oops, dropped a ball, I'd like to try out, but my brain's just not working and I'm feeling a bit lost to know what to make with them. Maybe some mittens, that would probably be enough to make a pair of mittens, wouldn't it? And I could make coasters, I suppose, with the cotton. My brain might be starting to work, but if you've got any ideas of any patterns or just projects in general, the kind of thing I could make with 50 grams of DK yarn, please do let me know, because I'd love to hear, and maybe you'll inspire me as to what I'll make, because it is really lovely yarn. But yeah, I'm just feeling a bit of a loss to know what to make with it at the moment. So that's it from things that I've been making recently. But the last thing I want to show you is something that one of my daughters actually made, and like I said at the beginning of the podcast, she's made an amigurumi project, and this is called the Leggy Goose. It was a free pattern on Ravelry. I forget who it was by. She just sort of searched through all the little animal patterns and found this one. But I'll pop a link below. But yeah, she was off school unwell just before half term, and decided she wanted to do a little bit of crochet. She can do a chain really easily. She'd learnt that a few years ago, and she had learned, I think I had once or twice taught her how to do some of the simple stitches, but I don't think she necessarily remembered. But she decided she wanted to make something, so she had a go, and she was off for 3 days, and then there was the weekend, and she ended up making, she started off with a mini teddy bear. It was all made as one piece. It was quite cute, I'm just showing you this one because this is the best one. And then she made, I think it was an orange with a little green leaf, and it had a face. And then she wasn't feeling great, so she wanted something easy where she didn't have to keep counting and keeping track of her rounds. So I suggested she just made a snake, because once you've sort of increased, then you just make it keep going round and round as long as you want, and you don't have to count. So then she made a snake, and then finally she made this goose, and she really got into it and how to read and follow the pattern. And she's 11, she's just turned 11. And she really enjoyed it, and she was like really amazed by how you start at the top and you obviously increase, and then there's the shaping, and just she was, you know, I think it's really cool too how just by following the instructions of increasing and decreasing in different places, it shapes it into the body of the goose. And then obviously she made the other bits and pieces, sewed it all together and sewed on some eyes. And she gave this to her sister as a present, so it sits on her big sister's bookshelf now. So yeah, I was really chuffed with that she sort of she really got into it and really enjoyed it, and kept wanting to come back and work on it a bit more. So that was really nice. So last things I've got to talk to you about are plans for, and I've got 2 plans that are, I've got loads of ideas, but 2 that are really about to be made for real, not just in my mind. So I've got the yarn, so I'm going to show you that and tell you about those projects as well. I can see my cheeks are getting red. I've got a bit of a cold at the moment. I've been feeling rubbish all week. I'm feeling much better today. My head's just been all week, but today it's feeling clearer. But I can see just sitting here, the sun's starting to come round and I'm getting quite warm. But anyway, we'll press on. So the first new project I'm about to start is with this Shapey's Whirl, which is the Lavenderlicious Whirl. This is my second ever Shapey's Whirl. I did have another whirl once from is an independent dyer, I think, on Etsy. But there's a limit really, isn't there, to how many whirl projects you want to make. But they're so nice, aren't they? I mean, so nice to look at. So yeah, this is the Lavenderlicious Whirl. And the reason I bought this is because my gran is turning 100 in May, and she lives in Jersey in the Channel Islands, and we're going over to see her for her birthday. It's hard to know really what to give her, but she used to work in a wool shop, and she crocheted and knitted. She did loads of other crafts as well, cross stitch and tapestry and things, but she was a big crocheter and knitter, and I actually have her old knitting needles. So I thought I'd make her a shawl for her birthday, and she loves lavender, purple as a colour. She wears it quite a lot. So that helped me choose the whirl. And I'm going to make, I asked on Instagram for suggestions, and I got quite a lot of good suggestions of shawl patterns that you could make with a whirl. And I put them all in my queue, all the ones that I was interested in, I put them all in my queue on Ravelry, and then gradually narrowed it down. And the pattern I've decided to make, I will put up a picture for you to see. It is the Lost in Time shawl by Mijo, wrote it down, Mijo, I think, Crochet. So I'll pop up a picture showing you the version that was made with a whirl. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to starting that, and I need to make it, we're going to Jersey for half term at the end of May, so I need to make it by middle of May. So I've got plenty of time, I think, but I want to get going just to make sure. I've not really got a good idea of how long it's going to take, so I want to get started just to make sure I finish it in time. So that is project number 1 that I'm about to start. And the other project is another pattern test, and this is to make, again, I'll put up the picture, and I keep needing to check the name for this because this is the Ducky Fuzz test for Rosina of Zines and Rogers, and she's got this. So the Ducky Fuzz, I'll pop up a picture. Did I just say that? It's a sleeveless jumper. She's also got the Fuzzy Duck jumper pattern as well. And I keep needing to remind myself the name of the one I'm doing, which is Ducky Fuzz, not Fuzzy Duck. But both of them are fuzzy. So I'm going to make mine with this. I haven't started at all yet. The yarn only arrived yesterday with Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk. Now the colour doesn't say on here. It's called something like Steel Blue. And when I was looking online, it looked a lot grayer, more of a grey blue. When it arrived, it is definitely a blue. It's very nice, but it wasn't quite what I was expecting. So I'm going to go ahead and make it obviously anyway. It was really hard choosing the colour because in this range there were loads of colours that I quite fancied, and Drops yarn is really good value, so I'm going to make it, and if when I finished I really like it, which I'm sure I will, I might just order another colour and make another one in another colour, because I'm not 100% sure. I'm looking quite red at the moment, so it's hard to tell, but I'm not 100% sure whether this colour's the best colour for me, so we'll see. But yeah, really looking forward to starting that. Rosina's being strict with us, which is good, but she's making sure that all the testers, we all make a gauge swatch, because it's really important obviously to get the fit right, and the pattern is designed with a different yarn. Oh, what's it called? I'll put up the name. It's by, I think, like, they're an indie dyer, and so this is, she said this is the closest alternative she's found, but obviously it's different to what she's actually made it in. So I think, yeah, it's really important that we get the right gauge, and so I'm going to make my gauge swatch probably later today, and then work out my hook size and then get cracking on this. But it's a sleeveless top, so I don't think it should take too long to make, although from what Rosina said, and I've not worked with fuzzy yarn before. I'll see if I can hold up a strand. You probably know what it's like, sort of thin, but obviously with a fuzz. So she said it can take a bit longer to work with. You know, I think she suggested taking your time to make sure you get your stitches right and nice and even. So yeah, but looking forward to starting that. And there's something else I was going to say. It's gone, can't remember now. And no, anyway, looking forward to making it. Yeah, so that's the other project, and obviously because that's a pattern test, I can't remember, I think that deadline is in April, so I've got a month or so to make it. But with those two both having deadlines of birthdays and pattern testing deadlines, I want to focus on those for a bit, which is why the sock knitting and the Canal blanket are gonna be put to one side for a little while I work on these projects. And then depending on how those are going, I'm going to bring in a bit of the Starstruck shawl as well. So that's the plan. I've covered up my notebook, so I can't remember if I was going to talk to you about anything else. No, I think that's it. Yeah. So it's been lovely chatting to you again. Do feel free to leave a comment and like and subscribe, and let me know if you've been working on something while you've been watching, or where you're watching from. As always, it would be lovely to hear from you. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'm hoping to be back again in a few weeks, with updates on all of those projects. So take care, stay well, and enjoy some crochet time. Until next time, bye bye.